Hey, welcome back to the channel, and this is my review of England versus Fiji. I've entitled this video Yin and Yang because one team seems to be on the up and up, and one team seems to be spiraling out of control. I think you can probably guess from the scoreline which one is which, but anyway, let's get into the match. It's actually a pretty good start from England. They play to their strengths. Lawrence and Tuilagi smash it up in midfield and looking good, making some good ground. The ruck speed is not that quick, so England ultimately just get a penalty from their efforts, and it's 3-0 to England. More attacking play from England, and this is looking pretty good for them. They've struggled in the backline, but so far in this game, the backline has been doing the hard yards and actually getting England up the field. Johnny May, who was brought into the side, a bit of a surprise choice because he's getting on a bit now, but he shows his class and produces a lovely finish to get over in the corner for England, and they scored their first try of the match, and it's 8-0 to England. A really good start actually at home for them. The Fijian set piece is under a little bit of pressure at line out and scrum time. This is always a concern when watching Fiji, whether they can get those things right in the game. And early on, England did put them under a bit of pressure, but eventually it came right for them. When they do finally get a little bit of ball, they get points on the board, which is key for them, I think, and it ends up being 8-3. The skies above Twickenham have well and truly opened and is absolutely tipping down. So you're just wondering now if that's going to affect the handling errors on both sides. But one thing that went against England, I think, is they changed their tactics, or maybe they implemented their game plan, whatever it was, and they start kicking away a lot of ball. Now, Fiji haven't had a lot of ball so far, but the fact that England are kicking it back to them allows them to get the ball in their hands and actually to get into the game a little bit. So I think that was a mistake from them. England should have just suffocated them and kept the ball for as long as they possibly could. As I mentioned, England are kicking away a lot more ball now, and it's giving the Fijians the opportunity to attack, and they do. It goes through into the centres, and Fiji eventually get over for the score, but it's broke back and it's disallowed, and these should be warning shots for England, and they had a lucky escape there, but the score remains 8-3. England get a good attacking line out from a penalty kick, and put the Fijians under immense pressure. They go for the line-out maul, which again, could they have taken the points in the grander scheme of things? I guess it doesn't matter. But Fiji produce a good defensive set. They turn over the ball and stop and stifle that England attack. Just little key moments like that, I think, is where Fiji actually shined in this match. Things you wouldn't expect them to do normally, like line-out maul defence. They did very well in the match. So it's 8-3 to England going into the second half. I don't know what happened in the halftime changing rooms for England, but they come out absolutely lethargic as anything, and I just can't understand it. I don't know what was said. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that changing room, but they come out almost looking like a different team, and they were in the lead going in. Fiji don't do anything spectacular. They just try to get a ball to their danger men on the wing, and there's a modicum of space, a little bit of space on the wing, and the Fijian wing just skins Johnny May, passes it inside, and Fiji score. It's pretty surprising actually, and they're in the lead now. It's 10-8 to Fiji, so great stuff from them. England do wake up a little bit after their halftime tea and biscuits, and put some good phases together, but ultimately it comes to nothing. They've lost that killer instinct. So it's still 10-8 to Fiji, and the crowd at Twickenham now is starting to get a little bit nervous. There are lots of stoppages, particularly for the unforced errors, knock-ons, drops, etc. But suddenly, out of nowhere, again, as Fiji are inclined to do, they break down the blind side from a scrum, from first phase ball. and the England defence is nowhere to be seen, absolutely nowhere, and they just shoot over for a try. Yeah, pretty unforgivable to let a side score like that off first phase ball, but there we are, and Fiji extend their lead. Fiji get a penalty once more to extend their lead, and it's 20 points to 8 at Twickenham, to the last Rugby World Cup's finalists. So Fiji now are in dreamland, and they've just got to hold out until the final whistle. So England bring on a few subs, Marcus Smith being one of them. I think he comes on as fullback. Freddie Stewart didn't have a very good game today. But Marcus Smith, I think anyone who's not an England supporter, or even if you are, would agree that that is the player they should have built their team around like a year or 2 years ago, coming into this World Cup. But he comes on as like a utility back. What a waste. But he has a good impact on the game, as everyone knows that he will. Yeah, England will kind of get back into the game more. England managed to get over for a try, yeah, they have a lifeline. Now it's 15 points to 20 in favour of Fiji, but that lead doesn't last long, or that deficit doesn't last long, and Fiji kick another penalty, again getting the scoreboard to tick over, which is great for them. Very smart play, and it's 23-15. So Marcus Smith has sparked this England backline a little bit, and Marchant gets over for the try. Now I believe Marchant is another Harlequins player, and they seem to have a bit of fire in their belly, seem to want to prove something, and England bring it back to within a point. It's 22-23 with about 10 minutes to go on the clock. But Fiji respond, and England just can't defend against the pace and the power of the Fijians. Fiji get over it again. Nice little offload. Muntz, who's the young number 10, kicks it, and it's 22-30 now to Fiji, and they're 2 scores ahead. So it's looking like curtains for England. And that's how it remains until the final whistle. The yin and the yang. Fiji playing in Super Rugby obviously have had to work on their set piece and certain aspects of the game, building in more structure, but they've still got that power and that pace and that creativity to score from anywhere on the pitch. England showed a little bit more in the back line, particularly when Marcus Smith came on, and but it's just not working for them. The Fiji are on the up, England are on the down, and I think in this game Fiji actually overtook England in the world rankings, which is crazy. Plus it was the first time England have ever lost to a tier 2 nation, and it's just they're just not playing well. And is it they haven't got the strength and depth anymore? I find that hard to believe with the English Premiership. But they have a lot of old players on the pitch, you know, and they don't seem to be willing to go with young kind of new blood, and it's a little bit late now to bring them in for the World Cup. So it's going to be damage control, I think, from now on for England. They might be able to like squeeze out a good performance in the Rugby World Cup, but we'll have to wait and see. Fiji, on the other hand, with the new rules, and with them playing in Super Rugby, I think a rugby nation on the rise. They've been, you know, a beloved nation, particularly in the Sevens tournament or Sevens form of the game for a long, long time. And it's glad to see them doing well. Wales are going to have a hell of a time getting the win over them, but we'll see how that goes. So yin and yang. One team, you know, looking to the future, another team kind of licking their wounds and trying to figure out what went wrong, you know, in the last 4 years. So if you've watched the video this far and you've enjoyed it, please subscribe, leave a comment, share it if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you next time for the next review. All right, thank you, bye bye.